So we are going to have some fun today with the Crazy Hope Dealers. We are still, in separate little screens, but we will come back together soon when someone feels better. So today we're going to talk about pets. And so me working in the veterinary field, I have a lot of stories, like a lot of stories. And Amy's got some cute little dogs that come running through the room every once in a while, and she has some great stories too. So we're just going to share what we think is funny about our pets. So, Amy, do you want to tell something a little bit first?
Well, I'll just say this. I think my husband and I are really some of the stupidest people in the world. Let me just tell you why I think this. Because we were conned into getting two dogs that belonged to our son. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when I don't know, my son was about, I don't know, 5, 6, he said, every day, I want a dog. I want a dog. And he would get on his knees at night. We would pray with him, and he would say, God, please, please make my mom and my dad give me, please let him give me a puppy. And so we go through this whole thing of talking about it. We find this Dotson, and we go to pick it up and to surprise Cole. And we go to the front door, and the lady comes out with our little sweet pumpkin, and she hands him to Cole, and he said, I don't want that. And he turns around and goes back to the car, and I'm sitting there with this little baby pumpkin, and that dog has been mine ever since. She's now 11 years old. Then the second time, which is terrible, my son's probably, at this age, he's 15 or 16, and he's smart enough to know to convince us he would have to do something very special because he wants a GSP, which is a German short hair puppy. So he has to do something special. So he decides to do a PowerPoint presentation of why he needs a German short hair
He
puppy.
went all out, didn't he?
Yeah, he sure did. And it was like a 20-minute deal. I mean, professional.
Did he dress up in a suit to do this?
Oh man, he was really nicely dressed, did it. And so anyway, we let him do that. And so we didn't really think, oh my goodness, 3 years, our son's going to be in college. Well, he's gone to college his first year. So we're stuck with a 55-pound German short-haired pointer named Daisy May. And Daisy May and Pumpkin do not get along whatsoever. So, and who they look to for everything?
You.
Me. Me. Who loves them more? Me. So,
Yes.
anyway, yes.
Yeah, it's funny how that happens. We have a cute little Sparky that is my daughter's dog, and so a story about that is that we knew the breeder, and we saw these cute little puppies, and they're super super cute, and they're like, I mean, tiny little bitty. And we went to go and we picked one out, and then we decided, well, we can't, we can't do that right now. So about 6 months later, the breeder had already had, 2 more litters. And we get a phone call saying, we know your daughter really, really wanted one of these puppies. If you want one, you can come and get it because the owner surrendered it back to us. And now the puppy's like 8 months old. So we ended up driving over there, and Caden did a bake sale. She did all this stuff to get this dog, and we were told that this type of breed was going to be very quiet. It doesn't bark, and it's going to be so so polite. It goes to the bathroom where it's supposed to. It goes, and it's very smart, and he's just a lap dog. Well, so after we paid what we needed to pay, we brought the dog home. The very first hour that it's at the house, it's barking at something outside. Not even a person, it's a leaf. And so he's barking. And then anytime somebody comes over, I mean, my father-in-law lives next door. This dog barks at him every single time he's seen him, and he's now 9 years old. And he's poor dog. He must be Dory, and he has like short-term memory loss. I have no idea, but so yeah, so now my daughter's also in college, and we have Sparky. And Sparky is difficult when people come over, but we love him.
I can attest to that. Sparky.
Yes. Yep. I had to hold Sparky just so Amy could come in the house and not bark at her repeatedly. And then when she gets up to go anywhere in the house, Sparky starts barking again.
Yeah, but we became best buddies.
Y'all did. And he missed you when you were gone.
Yeah, well, I kind of missed him too.
Yes.
But he barked at me. If I was seated, he was fine. But once I got up to do anything, he barked continuously at me. And I think it was his way of saying, sit down, woman, sit down.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So you can pet me, love on me.
Yes.
Not kindly obliged.
Yes. Well, it's funny that, with all the years that I've worked at a vet clinic, I've had so many crazy stories. And I had somebody the other day just ask me, she's like, what is the weirdest story that you've had? And there's like two that come to mind. But I worked at a large animal, small animal clinic for a little while, and we had the large animal facility was in the back of the clinic, and we had the front of the clinic was the small animal. So we did get farm calls to where the veterinarian would go out and check on the different cows or horses. But this one call, I was answering the phone, and this lady said that she had a miniature donkey and she needed to bring it in. And I said, okay, so when you get here, go to the right of the building, pull your truck around, and just honk your horn. We'll come out and we'll help you get the donkey out. So she said, okay. So we were waiting, and we sure enough heard the car horn. Notice I said car. And we went out to go to this station wagon. Now it was, remember National Lampoon's Vacation where it has the wood panels down the side? So this was that vehicle. And so she's in the car and she gets out of the car, and I said, okay, so is somebody else bringing the donkey? You just got here first. Oh no, he's in the back. So she opens up the back of the station wagon, and as I'm trying to get this donkey out of the back of her station wagon, the donkey kicks the back window and breaks her window in her station wagon. and we I had to pull it out, and then when I got the veterinarian out there, he's looking at me and he's looking at the station wagon and he's looking back and he goes, where did she put the donkey? And I said, see the window back there? I said, he kicked it out. He was in the back seat. And so we have that was something very weird that I never knew that mini donkeys would be portable in a station wagon.
Oh my.
But they were, yeah.
How big was the donkey? I hate to ask. I mean, was it a regular size? You said it was miniature?
It was a miniature one. So it was around 125 pounds. Mm-hmm. And he couldn't even stand in the back. So he was kind of just in there, like kind of wedged over to the side. And yes, and evidently when she was driving, his head was up in the front with her. So I have no idea. Like, I mean, you would think if they had donkeys that they would have, maybe a trailer, or a truck. But yeah, so that was interesting. So never think that a large animal has to come in a truck and with a trailer. And then we had other times to where this lady brought in a Chihuahua one time that was, we didn't see it when she brought it in, but she had stuffed it in her bra, in her shirt. And when we came in to check it out, she just had to like pull Chihuahua out into the room. And so, of course, I was working for a very, very nice, respectable veterinarian that, that would embarrass me. Like, I had no idea that you could like stuff a Chihuahua, but evidently they did. So,
Oh my,
and the poor Chihuahua, like he must have been smothered. I don't know, but
oh my goodness.
yeah. So, tons of things. There's crazy things happening all over.
Yeah. I have this is kind of terrible to say, but I'm just gonna put it out there. But since my son has gone to college, there have been few nights that my husband and I have actually slept in the same bed together. Because I take one dog into one bedroom, and I can't believe I'm even saying this. And then my husband goes into another bedroom. And because if we all try to sleep in one bed, it's just it's like Marmaduke and than us, because Daisy's pretty big, and she kind of takes over. But she's so hot too. She's like burns me up. And I was having some back problems, and one time Doc was out of town, and I slept in our big king size bed, and Daisy, when she gets in to the bed, she wants to get under the covers, so she waits for you to pull the covers up like this, and then she goes in under the covers, and then she just falls. She doesn't like, she plops. I mean, boom. So your whole my whole right side here is just completely goes numb, like really quickly.
Nice.
But she just, and then I like it sometimes, but sometimes it's not so good because I get so hot. But I was having some back problems. And then my Dotson, she's like that long. She's a little miniature, but she spreads out, and she's always going to be right here on my stomach or right here on my side. So anyway, they had me wedged in, like, wedged in. And I just had this back problems, and I thought, oh goodness, how am I going to get up one night to go to the restroom? And I was hurting. I woke up, I was in pain from my back. And I pretty much had to scoot my way out. And every time I tried to move, Daisy got closer and closer to me. And as she was getting closer and closer to me, and as I was trying to get out, I finally got out of the bed. And the next thing you know, those two are touching each other. And then all of a sudden I hear this.
Oh, no.
Pumpkin had a conniption, and they started snapping at each other. So I had to be
Well, it's a good thing you were out of there by that time, because that would have been really painful
so
for
I come back in and kind of separate the two. They did not like each other. So I have to be very careful about that. But so I thought, okay, so they're in their own respective little places in the king size bed. So I'll just get over here and I'll be fine. So I went to sleep, and when I woke up, I was wedged in again. So there you go.
Yes, animals are so fun. I had Great Danes for many, many years, and my very first Great Dane, his name was Winston. I named him after Winston Churchill. And he was this solid black, beautiful, beautiful dog. And he was my roommate when I went to work at the vet school at Auburn. And first of all, I got an apartment, and at apartments, you're supposed to have like a dog 35 pounds or under. Well, I didn't know this. I've never lived in an apartment before. This is the first time. And so I fill out the application for the apartment, and I'm like, Winston. And then I wrote down, it said, it didn't have anything for weight. So I don't think I put anything for weight. And then it said, is he house trained? And I said, absolutely, because he's really good at that. And so so they reviewed the application, they approved me for the apartment. I go in to move in, and I get all these looks from people that are out, walking around, and so I was like, well, that's kind of weird. Have they never seen a Great Dane before? I mean, I didn't think it was a problem. So I move in, and 2 days later, I get a knock on the door. And of course, my Great Dane, the big barks that they have, it was like woo, woo, like really loud. And so the manager of the apartment comes to the door, and she goes, oh, like she's terrified when she walks to the door. And Winston was not mean at all. He just wants to lick you. And so she said, I don't know if you misunderstood the application or not, but we only have dogs that are under 35 pounds here. And I said, oh, I did read that earlier, but I thought it said 135 pounds. And she goes, how much does he weigh? And I said, well, he's right under 135. And so she came in and she started just petting him and loved him. And she's like, he is really good. She said, if he wasn't good, I would have told you couldn't keep him here. But I actually got to keep him there. And this dog was the love of my life. Like, seriously, he was like a person. And after I lived in that apartment, I did move out because it was Auburn, and they have a lot of trailers. I lived in a trailer, and the front yard was fenced. The backyard had a deck on it. And I would go to work at the vet school every day. I'd come back, I'd let Winston out. We'd go for a walk or something. Well, one day I came in from work, and Winston was standing in the front yard, not in the fence. I didn't put him in the fence that day. He was in the house. So I go in the front door. The front door was locked. I was like, how in the world did he get out? So I walk in the front door, and then I grab a broom because I'm like, somebody broke in my house. And I don't know what I was going to do with the broom in my hand, but I got a broom, and I walked through the trailer, and I was like, the back door is open. And so I was like, well, how did this happen? So I looked all through the house. Nobody was in there. Nobody had broken in. I sit on the couch. Winston's in there with me, and I hear this click, 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 click noise. And I'm like, oh gosh, somebody's coming in again. So I got my broom, and I'm like trying to go back there. And I see Winston with his mouth on the doorknob, his whole mouth, and he's going click, 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 click with his mouth. And he opens the back door and gets out on the deck.
Smart dog.
He was very smart.
Smart dog.
So then I had to learn that we had to do another way of keeping him out of that. So I had to put a baby gate in front of that. So even if he opened it.
Oh, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. But
Doc and I had, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say he was the same dog that also would fake me out when it was time to go to the bathroom outside, because I would tell him go to the bathroom, and he'd run out there and he'd hide behind the biggest tree, and his head would be out of one end and his butt would be hidden. So he would look back at me like, I'm going to the bathroom, you can't see me. And so then I'd say, did you go to the bathroom? And he'd come running back all excited. And I was like, you did not go. And then he'd put his head down and he'd walk and he'd go back out there. He was crazy.
They're so smart. They're so smart.
Yes.
My husband and I, Doc, we had a couple of parakeets, and we had them pretty much trained, and just going, they would fly down the hall to go to the screen porch, and then come in at night, fly back, and come to their cage. But anyway, so at night we would cover them up with a sheet, so they would go to sleep. So one night, it was about 2:30, I woke up, and I was up in my foyer of the loft upstairs, and I was just sitting at my desk reading, and I heard something which sounded like somebody trying to come through the window with like metal blinds. And I jumped up and I ran to get Doc and to wake him up, and I said, somebody's trying to break in. And he said, nobody's trying to break in. And I said, yes, they are. And he heard what I had heard. So we get up and he says, I don't even have anything. And I had a little 22 gun, handgun. And so I go find it and I realize I don't know where my bullets are. So I'm trying to find bullets and it's like five minutes has already passed. I find bullets. Doc has a bat, in his hand. We're going down the steps and we're still hearing this noise. And so anyway, I didn't realize it, but Doc was like, put the gun down. It was like he's real scared of guns. And because I was ready for him to come into that house. But anyway, so we go down and we check everything else. We go around the house outside, turn the lights on everywhere, nothing. And so, but anyway, so the next morning we find out that one of our birds had died, and that's what we had heard. She was hopping around in the cage. And so anyway, I guess the moral of the story is be more prepared than what we were, because if somebody had tried to get in on us, we would have absolutely been dead.
Yes.
But
hopefully Doc wouldn't have hit you over the head and and you would have shot the gun. That would have been really bad.
It was almost like a Barney Fife situation. I'm serious. We laugh about it now, but yeah, that was pretty funny.
Well, that is pretty scary when you hear things and you don't know what it is. And
yes, absolutely. I love having dogs because they hear something, they're going to go ballistic.
Yes. Even when they don't hear anything, in my case.
Yeah. In your case, yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Oh, he's crazy. I know. Sometimes I wish I could put a little mute, like one of those little muzzles on him for a little bit, but
I've thought about that several times. Yeah.
Well, no, that's funny. Pets are very they're very good for us because they they're always happy to see us. We could just go outside for 2 seconds and come back in and they're like, oh, you're here, you're back. They're so excited.
Yes. And what's so neat about, like Pumpkin, my little Dachshund, is I have no idea. I mean, I know exactly when she gets up in my face or whines, I know exactly. Like we have this communication going on without even saying words. I know what she wants. I know, I mean, it's she's like clockwork. I know 11:30 carrots. Okay. Yes, I know when she needs to go outside. I know when it is time for her apple at night. I know when she's ready to go to bed. At 9:30 on the dot. I don't care if it's Friday or Saturday night. That's when she's doing. So we just have this relationship that is, I would miss her tremendously. And now that Daisy has come into the picture, oh my goodness, I just love her. I just love her so much. Our son is not getting her back. As much as we've spent on both of these dogs, I'm telling you right now, vet bills we have paid for the whole veterinarian's granddaughters and grandsons to go and get a college education. That's
really nice of you. They appreciate that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We've been through a neck surgery. We've been through 3 episodes of HGE, which is a hemorrhagic thing going on with the stomach.
Yes.
And I mean, we have spent some money, especially on our Dachshund Pumpkin. Wow. We love her. We love her.
Yeah, thankfully, Sparky has not had many illnesses. He does have a heart murmur, but he's probably going to live forever just to bark at people.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. No, well, thank you guys for joining us. It was just a little fun talk about pets, and I know you've got your own stories, so if you want to, just email us, tell us some good stories. We might even mention it on our next video. So you guys have a good afternoon. Always remember to subscribe to us to get our videos we'll alert you when we send out a new one. And if you need prayer for anything, you can send us an email for that. And because we are health coaches, we not only help with getting you to your healthy goal weight, but help you with your mindset, and then can also help you with finances. So click the button below for that also. Y'all have a great afternoon. See you next time.